All right, I'm just testing the mic, testing the mic. One, two, three. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. So, I haven't made a video like this in a while, so I figured I'd jump in here and make you guys another video, talk some smack. So today I'm gonna talk about my 1 year since my detention. It's officially been a year. I'm gonna give you guys a run through. I go to my lives all the time, and I have hundreds of people asking me, "What's the reason? What happened? If I had a criminal background? If was I mistreated? If I had status, etc., etc." So let's get to it. Okay, so November 4th, 2024, I was driving back from Mexico, going back to the States to go to work. Yes, I did have status. I was a legal permanent resident for 19 years. Um, I had been in the States since I was 3 years old. So, anyways, I was driving back and I got detained at the border. I was told I had a immigration hold for months already, which I believe to this day is BS. Because I have been traveling back and forth to Mexico, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all freaking year, all 2024. So they detained me. They put me in the office. They told me I was gonna have court December 3rd to see an immigration judge. I was freaking out. I had no idea. Never been detained by immigration. Never been questioned by immigration at all. My whole 35 years that I was in the U.S. Yes, I was in the U.S. 35 years. So they didn't show me any paperwork, uh, proving to me that I had an immigration hold. I spent the night at the border, and in the morning they transferred me to a detention center in South Texas, which is Port Isabel Detention Center, where I spent the next 178 days detained, fighting for my freedom and basically for my life. The next few weeks, complete complete chaos mentally. I didn't know what was going on. They wouldn't give me any information. They wouldn't answer my um, questions when ICE would go into to the cells. I would send them emails, messages through the tablets that they had for us. They would not answer me anything until about a month and a half later. I got some paperwork from a San Antonio office for immigration, which the paperwork was called an NTA, notice to appear. And in that paper, it said that I had a um, immigration hold for a misdemeanor I had in 2010, which was September something 2010 in Houston, which I had mentioned in another video, and I mentioned in my lives. It was possession of controlled substance, little tiny green, which I did probation, 6 months, paid $200 fine, did some AA classes, etc., etc. Went to court, got it. You know, I was um, the defer was for the misdemeanor, correct? 15 years later, I guess United States immigration decided to put a hold on me for a misdemeanor I committed. Now, I did commit that misdemeanor within the first 5 years of the probation that you were not supposed to get in trouble during your residency. So that's that. So the first couple of weeks that I was in detention, the third week, um, I got my ankle broken, my left ankle. They broke my ankle, which were the workers that worked for ICE, for the government. They broke my ankle. They ran my foot over. Um, I got taken to the hospital somewhere in the Valley, Texas, where they did X-rays and they told me that my ankle was broken. So I spent the next 7 weeks in a wheelchair with no cast, no treatment. I was just being given medication, which were, you know, three or four. I don't remember, which I can't mention here, but they're pain meds and inflammation and some other kind of medication for me to sleep because I couldn't sleep because of the pain. So I had no cast. They gave me a simple boot tied up, you know, basically to prevent from me hitting myself and the wheelchair. And now within the next couple of weeks and months, I lost so much weight. I lost about 20 pounds, which I'm still kind of struggling to gain some weight. because I guess the food in Mexico is so much healthier, so it's hard for me to gain weight here. Now, the next few months, me and my family were fighting for my freedom, paying money. We went through three lawyers. The first two lawyers, they took our money. The second one, she took the case. She started fighting for my freedom, which we spent, me, my parents, my sisters, my brothers, everybody that invested money. We spent about $17,000 altogether. So I had my first court December 3rd, which was an introduction court. Basically tells you why you're there, who your judge is, if you have a lawyer, blah blah blah. Second court, you go in there if you have legal representation. Then your lawyer says, okay, um, we need more time, get our paperwork together, blah blah blah, you know, etc. Now the third court was basically my trial. I go in there. My lawyer has a shit ton of paperwork ready, reasons why I should stay in the U.S. Um, how long I've been there, my job, etc. How I pay taxes, U.S. citizen kids, U.S. citizen spouse, you know, the works. Didn't work. The judge didn't even hear us out. He told my lawyer, um, I have no right to stay in the country at all. He didn't let her speak. He didn't let me speak. He didn't care. Nothing. Okay. Boom. Over. Basically. So after my trial was over, basically I had no legal status at all. Now my family did decide to do the appeal. Now the appeal goes to Virginia, which is the Court of Appeals. Basically, what they do is they look over your file, your case, and they take about 6 months to make a decision. If they basically give you another opportunity to fight again, which they listen to the trial to see if it was a fair trial. They look at your paperwork. Um, if you have a good reasonable doubt why you can stay or not stay in the country. If they do give you an opportunity, that's 6 months later. If they don't give you an opportunity, that is also 6 months later. If they do, you start your whole process again. Basically, is another three courts, which could take 2 3 months, and you get the same judge again. It was gonna be a waste of time, honestly, because I was gonna sit there about another year. So in total, I was gonna be there a year and a half, possibly 2 years, before I was even told again I could stay in the country or no again. I was not gonna take that risk. Honestly, I was not gonna give these people my time, my life, almost 2 years of detention over some bullshit that I committed 15 years ago. Now a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, you should have behaved. You shouldn't have committed crimes." Blah blah blah. Nobody's perfect. It is what it is. May 2nd of this year, I was deported from the U.S. The day I was deported, I was taken to the border in Brownsville, Texas, and about 60 plus people were thrown to Matamoros, Tamaulipas. Now, we were blessed enough that the government of Mexico was there in Matamoros waiting for us, which basically they had Marina, they had an office by the bridge waiting for us to take care of us because of the circumstances. Now, when we were escorted by the Marina to the office, we got paperwork from Mexico and a temporary ID. They gave us food, and then they took us to a shelter, which they call it un albergue. There we had places to shower, beds to sleep. They gave us some medical insurance for 3 months. They gave us 2,000 pesos to help us get home or to eat. Um, some people, most of the people left in buses to the nearest cities. Now people have asked me, what do I do since I've been here in Mexico? I did start my own business, which I sell Mexican goodies to the U.S., which is candies, clothes, shoes, medication, if I can. I am also officially about to move out on my own, so I would be independent. I will be independent finally, which that makes me really happy. and I will get to have more opportunities in life here in Mexico, and I will be able to do my own thing.